And welcome to our National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims 2022. We are grateful that you are here with us. Thank you all for looking so amazing in your red and black, as red and black are the colors that we wear. And so we are so grateful. And on behalf of the coalition, my name is Shalene Gums. I'm the crisis counselor. I'll be your MC for today. And we will have our opening remarks, followed by words of healing and inspiration from our executive director, Ms. Clemma Lewis.
Good afternoon. I'm Clemma Lewis, the executive director. This is our 15th annual National Day of Remembrance. And you know that has a special place in our heart, and that's why we do it every year. It's so many people who have died in this community from gun violence, accidents, stabbing. There's no way in this world we're not going to honor their memory and use things to help them heal. Today is all about the pain and the healing. So we're going to have different activities that's going to promote acknowledgement of those that died, as well as the healing process. So again, thank you all for being here. It means a lot to us for those that are here today. We thought it would be good to start off with some poetry. I'm not a poet, but we're going to start off with some poetry. And I'll begin with Reach for the Rainbow. I thought that was so appropriate for the families that's suffering from National Day of Remembrance, suffering from the loss of loved ones, suffering because there hasn't been any justice. They still haven't found who killed their loved one. There has no peace. So on behalf of them and those that are still struggling, this is for you. Reach for the rainbow. I have walked through the darkest of canyons, lost sight of the last piece of sky. With no moon, no stars to guide me, somehow I got by. Now I build a home in the sunshine. Let go pieces by piece of the past. The storms that clouded my life have thundered their last. Now is the time I must live. Each day that dawn is my own. I will reach for the rainbow, reach through the rain. I will reach for the rainbow, reach past the pain. I can be happy, I can be free. I know there's a piece of rainbow for me. I have lived with ancient, angry voices. There were times when they tore me apart, but I healed myself with words of loving kindness and mend my wounded heart. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it, and I believe I'm not alone. I will reach for that rainbow, reach through the rain. I will reach for the rainbow, reach past all my pain. I can make my life what I want it to be. I know there's a piece of rainbow for me. This is dedicated to all the survivors of the National Day of Remembrance. Thank you.
Thank you, Clemma, our executive director. We thank you for helping us to reach for the rainbow. And because this is National Day of Remembrance, and we do know that it is a very, very painful time for a lot of people, those who are here, those who are not here. I had quite a number of people call and say, I'm not ready. And understanding that they're not ready to deal with it because they've lost their loved one, may have been a long time ago, but still facing it on a daily basis, it's hard. And so we thought in the committee that does National Day of Remembrance for Murder Victims, that we would want to have a way of working it out. And so because of that, we called Charlene. Because Charlene has this way of helping us to do mindfulness moments that help us to be able to grow and heal and feel better. And so we just want to call Charlene Springer to do her moment of mindfulness for us.
Hi, everyone. Hi. I'm Charlene. It's not a moment. It'll be a little longer than a moment. You know, I was trying to figure out, well, what can I say to someone that has gone through that kind of pain? And because it's violent, it's not, oh, someone's older that they're dying. You know, it's just something a little bit different. So what do you say to someone who's experienced that? And I had to break it down to what do I say to everyone, my clients who are having issues, personal emotional issues, because it's always about the emotion. So when we look at the emotion, most people have an emotion and then it gets stuck in the body. So what I've seen over the years, people with different cancers, it always came from some traumatic thing that happened to them. Okay? So what's emotional can become physical. So this is why we're here today, to learn little tools that we can use to get rid of that emotion so it doesn't become a physical thing in our bodies. Okay? Emotions also put us, this is the one part we forget, and this is the beautiful part. Having your emotion puts you closer to God. But we have to have it and finish it. So what tends to happen is we start to loop. So that's all we think about all day long. So you always have a choice and the ability to recognize, what are my thoughts right now? So you're going through life and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm still mad at this and I'm still mad at that. 10 years later, you're still mad. That's looping. That's how we get in trouble. So if you were to change, so let's say 95% of our day is thoughts on things that have nothing to do with us. And it's on everything else. It's not on you. So if we could switch that a little bit and switch it to the part where we even do 30%, where we start thinking about ourselves. And what do you want? Why are you here? God didn't put us here to stay looped. And a lot of people stay trapped in that loop. So close your eyes for a minute. Let's just try a little experiment here. I love experiments. Okay? So think about a lemon, one of those nice, big, juicy lemons. And you're going to cut it with a knife. And you're going to put that lemon to your mouth. And you're going to suck on that lemon. Yes. Okay, how many people did their mouth water?
Yes.
Everybody, your mouth watered. You were cutting that lemon and seeing that juice, and you were like, your mouth already started to twist up. Okay, what you just experienced was what an emotion can do to you, even though it's not there. Is there a lemon here? No, there's no lemon. But yet you're having that experience fully, viscerally, as if a lemon was there. So when you loop, you're doing that over and over and over again. Okay, how do we shift that? How do we shift that? Anybody have any clue of how do you shift it? What do you do? The door. What do you do for it? So we get to play?
Yeah.
Okay. So once you understand that emotions are the key part of this, the whole goal of it is to finish it. So let's think about, okay, what Clemma is doing here today, what this group, Charlene, all the people that work with this group, what do? They make people's lives easier. Okay? Are they happy doing what they do? Are you happy? She loves doing what she does. So how do you get to the state of looking at, what do I love to do? What makes me happy? What gives me joy? That's where you go to start. Okay? So remember that feeling. So everyone can close your eyes for a minute. Think about what makes you happy. Is it when you're cooking for your family? Is it when you're hugging your granddaughter? What makes you happy? So just think about that. Now look at the feeling that happens when you're thinking about that. So does that put a smile on your face? Your heart feels lighter. Okay, these are all the emotions that are happening to you. So now, when I say think about something bad, think about something that's been bothering you, whether it be financial, whether it be someone that you're having arguments with. Think about anything. Close your eyes for a second and do that. And then look at the feeling. But there's a way to trick that. Close your eyes again and try to bring back the first feeling of where you were helping people. And especially the women, because women tend to do this. We are happy to help everyone else, but we're not able to do it for ourselves. So we're out there and we're like, yay, this is great, I can help the world. And I haven't done anything for me. And I'm going to be looping in my misery in the corner, and I'm going to get breast cancer, and I'm going to get this. I'm going to create an autoimmune disease. These are all the things that happen when we don't do ourselves. Okay? So we're going to go in now to how you process an emotion. So emotions, I played with this. This came up one day. After my husband died, I really was grateful for the time, and it's over 7 years now, but in those initial years, it was really good for me because I learned so much about the human emotion, about how it feels inside of you and what do you do with it. So one of the things we did, I did an experiment with 9-year-olds, okay? At the dojo, not cutting anybody, but with the dojo. And we played with this, and it's a technique I call breathe, feel, okay? And what happened was we looked at, I told them, because I always love to show kids energy field. So how you show an energy field to a kid is I actually created a pendulum. So I did washers, and I tied a piece of string on it. And then I said, well, push it towards the person. And they did. And I said, you'll see the washer is going to make that little tilt. And they're like, oh, okay, let's try that. So they were trying it, and they saw it move. So they were like, their words, is that magic? I'm like, yes, that's energy. Because we are, that we are electromagnetic, and we give off a frequency, right? So that's what they were tuning into. Great. So I'm like, okay, so now have a seat. Think about the worst thing that happened to you in school today. That you were angry, that you were afraid, that you were upset. They sat down, they did it, they came back, and they're like, I said, try the field, try the pendulum again. So they did, and they're like, oh, where did it go? Because what happened? The field closed. Because you were upset. So what should be this suddenly became this. Okay? What I see, I'll talk about that after. So then I said, okay, so let's do this breathe, feel thing. So we did this breathe, feel thing. And then they were like, okay. So they go up again and they do the feel check. And they're doing the feel check. And now instead of that light movement, the feel suddenly does this. And they're like, oh! So one kid comes up to me and he's like, is that the force? And I'm like, yes, that's the force. So these are 9-year-olds telling me this, so I didn't need any more proof than it works other than having these 9-year-olds. And what the thing I was going to make, the point about the field closing, what tends to happen, and I see it in people now. I mean, I've been in this business over 22 years now, and after a while, you've touched enough bodies and you've listened. See, I listen to bodies. And you've listened to enough bodies that you pick up a lot of stuff. You hear a lot, you see a lot. You're like, oh, where'd that come from? So from doing that, what I tend to see now is people who do the open and close feel all the time, you see that their hands change. It's not, the hands aren't the same as the rest of the body, which means the field is closing even more. And they have all sorts of issues with their hands or their feet. So the extremities are the first thing that you see the changes going on in. And you see it, you see the energy. And you're like, oh, okay, they're having issues. And so what you do, you teach them how to expand that. And this is the whole goal of this. The thing is, when you do you, and your field is this, you affect everyone around you. And then some that you don't even know, and you didn't have to do anything. All you have to do is show up, okay? And show up like this, okay? So close your eyes. So I need you to find something today. So just where you're not feeling 100%. So you look for that thing that's been bothering you. And what you do with that thing that's been bothering you is you give it notice where it sits in your body. And usually it sits anywhere from your neck in through your hips. So in the viscera of the body. So just notice where you feel that. And once you notice where you feel it, you're going to give it a shape and you're going to give it a texture. So is it like shards? Is it like, barbed wire? Just notice what it looks like and notice the texture. The next part of this is now you're going to put your attention on your breathing. And you're not changing your breathing, you're just noticing your breath. And I know a lot of you took a deep breath, but just notice your breath. And what you'll tend to notice is that the breath is a little tight. Or you have good inhale, but you have no exhale. Or you have good exhale and no inhale. So you'll just notice that, ooh, what's that? So now you're going to put your attention back on the area and notice, is it getting bigger or is it getting smaller? And you're like, okay, is this big, small? Is it getting sharper? Is it getting duller? Is it getting heavier? Just notice. Put your attention back on the breath. And again, you're just noticing the breath. You're not changing it. You're just noticing what the breath is doing. So you're noticing maybe you have a good inhale, but that exhale isn't working today. And just notice. All you're doing is noticing. And now you're going to go back to the feeling again and notice the feeling. Is it changing? Is it getting a little bit lighter? Or sometimes it could be getting even stronger. So just notice. And then notice what the breath feels like again. Notice the change in the breath. Okay? And now go back to the feeling again. What is that feeling like? Just notice what it feels like. Is it changing? Is it getting smaller? Just notice. Now go back to the breath one more time and notice what the breath is doing. So what starts to happen is the thing that was sharp and barbed wiry or heavy and solid and all that starts to lighten up as the breath changes. Okay? The key to this is do not take a deep breath. Watch your breath change. And what you'll find is as your breath changes, then the feeling's going away. So what you have done now is fully process through your body this feeling. Okay? And then once you're there, then as the children say, you get the force. And the force works with you. Okay? So that's an easy way of doing it, of putting your body back into that mode. Now, if you don't want to go through all that, after a while you get really good at this, that you could actually have someone in front of you that's bothering you, and you're like, I want to kill them, but I'm just going to breathe, as my niece calls it, breathe, feel. I'm going to breathe, feel, and you just process. So you have the emotion fully, have it in your body, and you're like, oh, okay, there it is. And you're like processing. You're like, okay, I'm choking on this one, and you keep going until it's done. Okay? And when it's done, it's gone. It doesn't come back. It's completed. A lot of us, especially females, sorry guys, are more like empaths. I have a lot of young people now. They're like 16, 17, 18-year-olds. And I have their grandparents calling me up going, can you talk to my granddaughter? Can you talk to this? And it's because kids, they're feeling things. And they're feeling everything. And no one's ever told them that it's not yours. You can feel it, but it's not yours to fix unless you're getting paid. And it's not yours to do anything with. You're just that person that can feel stuff. And you let it run through you, it's not yours. So it's so amazing how many young kids are coming up with this now. They have this energy. They're aware. They're very aware. Okay? So this is what this whole process is about. Finish the feeling. Don't let it get stuck in your body. Because trust me, it will show up. For all the people that have had different cancers that I've encountered, I always ask questions. So when people are sick, I'm like, so what was going on in your life just before you got diagnosed? And it's always a trauma. Something triggered it. Always. Not sometimes. Always a trauma. Okay? So if you remember that, why would you want to live your life like that? Why wouldn't you want to live your life loving you? And going back to that feeling that gives you joy. So if you can come back to that joy feeling 30% of the day, miracles will happen. Because what happens is, if you understand the law of attraction, energy like attracts like. So what is when you're depressed and sad or mad? The vibration is here. And when and pulled into the body, where you go, where did it go? Where's my field? And then when you are able to have that joy in your heart, as I said, find the things that give you joy. It could be cooking, it could be gardening, it could be talking to people, whatever gives you joy. And then once you have that, build that, and then the force comes back. Okay? And the goal is to walk around with the force. Be Yoda. Okay? And again, this other simple thing that you can do is just breathe. Sit quietly, take that time for yourself. And that could be anywhere. Waiting in the doctor's office, standing in line in the supermarket, because sometimes, the lines are long. And just close your eyes for those 2 seconds and take a breath. We have this. You can't go wrong with this. That's an advantage. There's always some flower, some bird, some view that you can look at. We have this. Take advantage of that and get out of the loop. The loop's going to kill you, literally. Okay? Okay, any questions? Great, thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I want to go to sleep. Nice and relaxed. Nice and relaxed. All the looping is gone. Learn to breathe. Thank you so much for the mindfulness. And sometimes, especially doing the work that we do, we have to, my feel-good place is on an airplane. So I found it. But thank you so much, Charlene. We appreciate it. I'm sure everybody can use that tool for something. So thank you kindly, thank you kindly. And so as we continue our program, we're going to have Ms. Tamara Honoré come, and she's going to give us words of healing and inspiration as well.
Good afternoon, everyone. The poem I'm going to read today is titled Always There by Emma Marie Etwell. When you remember me, please do not weep. My body may not be there. It has chosen to sleep. I'm not that far away. My soul lives on, looking down, watching over you and everyone. And when you feel sad, and if life seems so blue, just remember that my spirit has its arms around you. And on those special days that you wish I could see, that cool breeze flowing past you, well, that will be me. So don't be sad. Have no fear. God has taken me under his wing. but I'll always be near. I still watch you, every minute, every day. My love and soul are with you, and that's where they will stay. Thank you.
So this is the part that usually is the hardest parts, but the best parts. And this is when we have open mic. And so what happens here is we ask surviving loved ones to come up and talk to us about how you're feeling, how the change has happened, what's going on with you, and anybody that would like to come up and say something. Because we do know that everybody in the community has lost somebody in some way. And so it's real for every one of us. We'll show our wall after, kind of why we want to do this before, because the wall's 15 minutes long. Just so that you know, the wall is 15 minutes long because there's 631 names on it this year. And so we want to have you come and tell us how you're feeling. And we are here. We are here. So if anybody would like to come up, I'll do acknowledgments afterwards, but if anybody would like to come up and say something, the mic is yours. But stand right here.
I know he's a camera.
Yeah.
I saw that. First, I want to apologize for being late. I told Miss Benjamin that I was going to be late. I had to pick up, I got some fraternity brothers visiting from the States. And you talked about traveling in the airport, right? So you know what it takes to get your bags. So we finally got our bags, and so they're here, and I'm blessed that they're here. I am Tony Manuel. I'm the executive director of Gun Violence Prevention. I just took this job a couple of months ago, well, about 5 months ago, March, to be exact. And it's been, a process getting the office up and running. Before that, I was working at POST, which is Peace Officer Standards and Training, where I got to teach police and teach others a lot of stuff. I love teaching. Teaching is my niche. And to say the best time for you to look for a job is when you're really happy in your current job. But the job came open. It was advertised for the executive director of gun violence. And I thought, wow, that would be a good job for me. And the reason why I think it's a good job for me, because prior to that, I worked at Croix and Rum as a director of security, right? So here's a story, and I'm not going to try to drag this out, but I need to bring this around like a minister, right? So, I'm the security director of Croix and Rum, and I have to recruit people to work. So I'm doing the interviews, and so one dude comes in and he goes, I said, why should I hire you? Why are you the best recruit? And he goes, well, because I was a Marine. Well, I used to be in the Marine Corps, so I was like, okay, you're hired. And he had just come back from the sandbox. He did 2 tours in Iraqi freedom. So, yeah, I'm going to hire this dude, right? And then the next guy comes in, he goes, why should I hire you? He says, well, because I live close to the refinery, to the distillery. I live around the corner from Croix and Rum. This is my neighborhood. I've always wanted to work here. And I've had some scrapes with the law, but I hope that you'll give me a chance. So I looked at him, and he had an assault, and he had some possession charges, and kind of call them, misdemeanor kind of stuff. And if I'm gonna have a security team, I kind of want somebody that has an assault charge, right? So I said, well, okay, let me give him a chance. So I decided to hire him. My boss says, you ain't hiring nobody with a record. I said, well, we're Croix and Rum. This is our home. Why don't we give somebody a chance here? So she said, well, if he messes up, you go out, you through the door too. That's all right. So I said, you know what? Let me hire 2 more people that have records so I can put them on board, because I'm going to need them too. And I hired a young lady who beat up some dude, right? So I hired her. And, they became the most loyal employees we ever had. And the one gentleman, the one that was a Marine, he knew I used to be the police, so he said, hey, Tony, you've been like a big brother to me, mentoring me and all, and I think I want to join VIPD. I said, absolutely. I said, I will coach you through that whole process and get you on board, right? So I coached him through it and told him how to do his interview, and poof, he becomes a VIPD guy. I'm so proud of him. And then Arsdale, the other guy, he said that he's one of these guys that really likes everybody. So the other production and barreling, they were like, we want to steal him because he's such a good guy. So they move him up to barreling, then they move him up to production. He winds up being a foreman in Cruise and Run. And every time he saw me, he's like, yo, Tony, man, you really helped me out. You know, and he's back with his baby mama, and everything's going great. And then both of them get killed. The Marine, he gets killed by another police officer. And Arsdale gets gunned down in his house right in front of his kids. So the only way that I could really redeem that is to take this job. You know, it's not about politics or anything. I don't want anybody else to get hurt. And if I can do something that's going to make a difference, I'm going to try it. I don't care about economics or money or nothing. I just want to make sure that I'm going to do something that's going to make a difference. If it means talking to one kid to talk out of him that he's not going to do something. I hired Damien because Damien is from the areas that I can't go because even though my family's from here, I got no tongue. So when I walk into it, they go, who the Yankee Raz talking to me? You know, so I send Damien in the hood so Damien can talk to them because he grew up, he knows this place, and he can relate to them, you know. I can relate to them after they get to know me, and they go, okay, he a Yankee, but he cool. You know, I from here, but I ain't from here. So I struggled on both islands and then territorially. You know, but I've been in the schools. I mean, since March, I've taught at Charlotte Amalia, taught at Keene, I've taught at Complex, I've taught at Central. Damien does things at Central. We're set up to teach at Complex. We've been out there, you know, and I'm not the one that's I got lashed the other day because I don't like call media and tell them where I am all the time. We just doing our job. We doing our work. You know, so my remembrance piece, and I'm bringing it back, is Arsdale Ferdinand and Kai Java. And, you know, and with Kai, Lammy was also killed. You know, over some jealousy stuff. I mean, we're hurting each other over stuff. Turf you're never going to own, and a body you're never going to control. You know, and so you know that's what we're trying to do, and between working with the Women's Coalition, and I'm going to do this selfless plug here while I'm on camera. The end of the month, the 29th, we're going to do the Bags Across America. I don't know if you remember, but before COVID, my fraternity sponsored Bags Across America, which is we have a day where we collect gently used purses or handbags, and we fill them with nice stuff like, you know, perfume, lotions, body wash, chocolate, a nice novel, a book of poems, and we donate all those bags to the Women's Coalition. So when they have a young lady that is placed somewhere, we give them that purse, and it's just something that they can make them feel beautiful.
It was an excellent experience, Tony. Matter of fact, we got so many bags. I sent 50 to St. Thomas and shared with the family resources.
We raised like what? We made like 2,000 bags?
Yes, the people that came out was amazing. The stuff they put in the bags were amazing. So if you're ready to do it again, we on.
Well, the actual day is, the National Day is on the 8th, but we can't do it that day. So, but as long as we get it done during the month of domestic violence, the 29th will work. So I've talked to the national organization that says, I told them, I said, we can't do it on the actual day. So, well, as long as you get it done during the month, I said, we'll make that happen. So this is my plea to you that we're gonna do it at Post. So we're gonna have a space where people can just drive up, drop the bags off, my fraternity be there to grab the bags, and then Clem is there with her team, and we're there, and we sort of go, and we put nice stuff in the bags, and some bags are, I mean, people donate some really nice bags. So it's a great event. We'll be advertising, so you don't have to try to memorize this, and we'll do it, and we'll see you there. So
thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Anyone else? Oh, come.
The old lady's here.
All right. Just make sure you stand in the right spot.
Show me where to.
Right there, right there. All right, would you go just
Here. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, the old lady. This thing has really aged me. This thing with my brother. Wendell, Pumbalazi, Williams, the cop that disappeared, 2001, June. We didn't know anything for about 8, 9 years. I finally saw about 5 people were arrested, big trial, 3 got convicted, life without parole, they keep appealing, blah. That's not my issue. And that is not what's making me age, keeping me in a rage. I'm like so angry. The only thing that keeps me going, friends, because my family is really not here. They're siblings in the States. I got reported to his 2 children. My rage is that it's 21 years, June 14th, that I reported my brother missing. It is 2022. October. Is it October? No, that's his birthday. September 25th. I'm still. I'm so tired. Believe me, I'm really tired. My rage is not against the people that were, convicted. Karma's a bitch. Anyway,
It's okay, go ahead.
my rage is against them. We're getting ready, and I'm putting it out there. My family is, because I tell them I can't go on, I'm losing it. I can't sleep. I live in a hovel. I can't do anything. I could barely get myself together, ladies and gentlemen. No. I'm a Gemini, I'm out. But anybody that knows me knew me before. But I can't get anything done. I can't think. I can't. So we're getting ready to do a legal action, Virgin Islands government, to include its agencies, BIPD, GERS, and there's one more. Because there's no. I tell you, rage, it'll kill you. You know what saves me? My little 26-pound dog that I have to care for, that loves me regardless. And I'm the only one here that's devoted 20 years of my life to this, and I'm not getting anywhere. I'm a pauper. My roof leaks. The insurance company, I can't do anything. What gives me joy? I'd love to go back to traveling. I've traveled most of the continents, and I'm glad I did most of that before this really happened. Okay? Far East, Africa, Europe, South America, Central America, you name it. But why 18 years later? Why? Well, it's more than 18. Why his children, of course they're adults, can't get his 18 years of contribution? You know how long I have been fighting that battle with GRS? 8 years. 8 years. They jugged me, and I have to say me, and it's not an I. I'm the only one doing this work. They jugged me around for 3.5 years. Oh, okay, fine, do this, da-da-da. The 2 Myers and whatever the Candy, whatever the late cat, whatever the legal people produce what they want. I'm gonna make this short because I know, but.
This is about you, girl. Don't worry about it. That's why
Then they decided, they had me come in, bring on my documents, because the children, his kids can't sue from where they live. And could you imagine if they had disrupted their lives to come here? So I'm the one forefront, but they have to enjoin in any petition that I bring to any court or whatever. Then all of a sudden, no, we can't give the money. Can't give the money in a friggin' loan, in a grant. You know what I mean? So you'll have to sue us. You guys will have to sue us. And then why? Anyway, so I did. You know, we did. We have to sue. You'll have to sue us, GRS. So we did the suit. That's another. Oh, the court is the other one. I was trying to remember the agency. So that's why and that's not half. That's not half. But anyway, so we did that. We did that. First, they went to the court and said, well, they can't. She can't. I said, but this is what you told me. I have it on my, because I got the documentation. You said, well, you have to sue the entity. Well, you're the entity. Fuck. Anyway, we did that. Okay. But the judges didn't. It languished in court until last year. So that's 3.5, no, after GERS, 3-4 years with them, another 4 years that it languished, and in the court. I was sick in 2019, and I went to New York to get surgery. That was supposed to be 3 months. Ended up 7 months. I keep in touch with the court. I'm, you know, loyal, obedient, do what I have to do, because it's my, you know. So in July, I called the court. I says, is it going to be on the docket? Any updates? She says, Miss, they closed the case. What? I said, you, Miss, she says, I know, she checked. The case was closed. I said, but why? She said, because we sent a letter out, certified letter, and I guess I wasn't here. So the letter went back, so I assumed they thought I was dead. Or left, you know what I'm saying? So they waited, I guess, a month or two, whatever, and they closed the case. No, I didn't even bother to do that. There's some things you just have to draw the line. But anyway, quickly. So here I am, VIPD, X. I think they think we were like people of money or something. No workers' comp, workman's comp, and I went. Then, no workman's comp, no victims, whatever. No, there was 3 things that they should have offered. Nothing. So the court now is what was the letter? It was the 4th letter from the court to tell me. So I said, Miss, what was the letter about? I missed the date. She said, no, they were they had appointed a new judge. They had forwarded to a new judge. So I said, but that's the 4th judge. She said, and I said, and you closed because I wasn't there. Anyway, that would have been the 4th judge. I myself, in their faces, before that happened, why is this taking 3-4 years? It ain't a big deal. No judge wanted to take the case. So it would be assigned to one. I guess it'll sit in there, whatever, till it's, I'm recusing myself. So the 4th letter was to tell me it's going to the 4th judge. Before that, like the 2nd or 3rd, I went to the court. I said, well, why, if nobody wants it here, and I don't want to know why, can it be sent to the St. Thomas District? Oh, yes. I said, well, can we do it? She said it has to go through all of the St. Croix judges. You see why people lose their minds? If I wasn't a trained mental health person and helped a lot of people with their issues over the years. I'm 74. I had a life before I moved here. Okay, I was one of, in Columbia University system, health services of treatment counseling. I have judges, not judges, professors, administrators, students, people in all their, the physicians, all their school, all their, okay? If I didn't have a training and no signs, symptoms, thank God I don't drink. Okay? My brother didn't drink it. You know, because our father he died, he was an alcoholic. It means something when you live with that. So, but it has consumed my life to the point that I'd paid my dues. I went to college. I went to graduate school. I went beyond graduate school. I worked. I didn't have no children. I was focused. So why do I have to live like a pauper? No. Because I paid, and we have a case in Nevis. The big insurance company wouldn't release the money because our mother was the beneficiary, and she died in a foreign country. That money is sitting in, and it's money, because I paid all his insurances when he disappeared. I thought it would be like a year, maybe 2 months, 21 years later. Anyway, it's sitting in unclaimed property. We can't even get that. Okay? So, and God, Jesus. Oh my Lord. Anyway, I'm trying to keep it together, folks. But, okay, it's okay. But you see, I fend for myself all my life. All my life. All my life. I supported others. My family's not here. I can't move back to the States. What? I'm dying, folks. I'm dying. Believe me. Don't think I am dying. The rage. Anyway. It is not dramatic. You don't know. If I didn't know what to do, I am in therapy. I have to go to therapy. I'm on medication.
We got you.
Oh my God, me. At this in my life, I didn't kill nobody. He didn't kill nobody. Why has this government done this to us? Why? I pity people who don't have a voice in this community, who don't have friends and family and loved ones to help them to, and nobody to advocate for them.
And that is the reason why we do this.
That's right, Shirley.
My friends told me not to come to don't go, Jocelyn.
That is the reason why.
This is going to be too hard on you. Don't go. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
That's the reason why we do this, because there are so many people. There's so many people that don't, because it hurts. And it brings it all up. And you talk about it and it hurts more. And you get into the loop. And you get into the loop because a lot of times there's no closure. There's no answers. There's no justice. Things that you thought was supposed to work, you realize that a lot of the systems are broken. And so that's the reason why we do this. Is there anyone else? I know that that's a lot. Come, Damien. I know that there's a lot. So please be sure to breathe.
Yeah, everybody
Breathe.
needs to take a breath.
Breathe.
And I'm not sure if people also get all her pain, but her brother was a police officer. And I don't know if we're missing that. And he was a nice police officer. And she can't even get justice for a police officer. Imagine families whose sons and brothers and fathers was killed that wasn't even on the force or part of the government. If she can't get this justice, what about the rest of us?
He also served in Vietnam.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Damian Lang. Blessings to you and your family. It takes somebody strong to go through that and to be strong enough to keep going through it and living through it. Some people put the pain behind them and pretend like it didn't happen and just forget about it to try to block out the pain. And you continue to live with the pain. You know? You either have to be a strong person in Christ or you just a hell of a woman. You know? God gives people that strength that could actually, you know, carry you to go to the next level. Because for you to go through that for that amount of time, I have witnessed, 10, 20, 30, 40 young men dead in my life. I was only 44 years old. And in my 44 years old, I could count 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 that I know personally. People I know, people I grew up with, people I watch. Some of these in the last couple years been young men that I watched their mother get pregnant. I watched them in Pampers, and then I watched them in brief, and then I watched them in junior high, and then I watched them with a gun. You know, you live by the gun, you die by the gun. This ain't just a parable, or this ain't just a saying, it's real life. These young men that we have in our communities right now, they're growing up feeling that they need a gun. You get a gun, you buy a gun, you own a gun. 9 times out of 10, you're going to die by that gun. It's a real situation that we live in. You know, we have young men that's dying in our communities on a regular basis. We have young men that's preparing themselves to be gangsters. They're preparing themselves to die. That's all they're doing. They're preparing to die, because they're going to die. Our breed is dying. Our young men, our kings, they're dying. You know, I speak against it because I lived a life. I lived a life. I sit on the other side of the table. You know, I went in front of the same judges you're talking about. You know, we have a saying in the Virgin Islands that if you're up against VIPD, you will kill who you want to kill. 9 times out of 10, you're going to win the case. Because VIPD and our court system ain't doing the job properly. They have people saying in the courthouses, in the jailhouse, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years on a murder case. And then after they do 7 years, we don't dismiss the charge. We ain't got enough evidence to charge them. But they sit down and suffer 7 years. Yeah, they might have been innocent. Yeah, they might have been guilty. But we have ways that we're supposed to operate in our system. And our system don't operate right. And it opened the door to make young men feel that they could kill and they're going to get away with it because they see it happen before. We're going to sit down for 3 years in Golden Grove, and then guess what? After 3 years, the man will dismiss the case. We don't get out, or they're going to let we go home on house arrest and a bracelet for 4 years. And after the 4 years, dismiss the case. You know, Golden Grove is like a hotel. Man going there and chilling. I do it. I ain't telling you what nobody tell me. I live it. I live it. That's what we're doing right now. And we're trying to prevent any deaths from our young men. So anyway, salute everybody. To everybody that take a loss. I know we all took losses. I lose a lot of friends. I lose brothers. I lose cousins. I lose a nephew. I lose best friends. I lose best friends and best friends. I lose more friends. Like, I could tell you, like, I got a whole list. I got a whole chalkboard full of names. And these is people I grew up with, people I sit on and I smoke a joint with, I cool with, I drink a beer with. They dead. They dead. My 4 best friends all died to gun violence. We was a crew in Grove. All of them dead to gun violence. All, not some. And the only way I here talking to you today, because I went jail and do 12 years. If I was home, I'd have been dead too. Because that's the life I had chose. If it wasn't for the blessings that God gave me, believe it, man, God is real. Put all your differences to the side. Put all your hate to the side. God is the only love. Your woman, your husband, your man, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, they ain't got the love God got. God's love is real. It's real, real, real. And that's the only way you could feel that. release, to let go and say, you know what? That again, I done with it. I'm give to God. I was only able to give to God because I believe that God is real. If you don't believe it, you can't let the pain ain't gonna go no way. The pain gonna sit down and it gonna break you, and your knee gonna start to hurt, your hip gonna start to hurt. You gotta let it go. You gotta believe that God is real and give to it. And say, man, just deal with it. And he'll deal with it. I could guarantee it. I ain't telling you no joke. God will deal with it. Just tell it, deal with it. Sincerely. Seek him first and he gonna deal with it. I watch it open a lot of doors for me. Okay? Like things I never thought I would do in my life, I doing right now. I don't go from tough to tough and sit down with man that I know is killers. Man that don't do all kind of things in their life. And I would sit down with them and I would tell them, what you know, big man, unless you accept God. They want to watch me like, the man, you coming with this crazy man vibes. It's like, no, dog, I'm telling you, if you don't believe in God, dog, you're going to go jail or you're going to dead. You're going to dead. And guess what? A lot of them man that just daps me and be like, son, I like to see what you're doing, you know, my boy. You know, and it'll make me feel bigger. Each time I get one of my partner tell me they like what I'm doing, it'll make me go a little bit higher. You know? And my plan is to just bring love back. I ain't want to hear no murders in my island. This mines. This mines. I ban ya. This mines. I ban in a bathtub in mutual home. This mines. This mines. I mean, want no more murders here. We want the violence down, you know? To everybody that take a loss, I take one too. My brother get shot in the head in Shabbat. You know? Love and respect to everybody. Give it to God. Don't hold it no more. If you're hindering and it's breaking you, get it away. Get it away. But you gotta really get it away. And guess what? You're gonna feel a lot of peace. You're gonna walk with your head high. I don't walk from tough to tough and I'll be like, yeah, me need no gun, me ain't got no gun, I feel good now. Nobody can do me nothing. Blessing.
Whew. All right. All right. Everybody breathing? You breathing? Are we breathing? Okay. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Listening to those two testimonies just now really, really touched me. I did 21 years with the Virgin Islands Police Department, was supervised by the same Wendell Williams that you just heard about. Besides being one of my supervisors at the time, he became not only a friend, but a brother. And I understand exactly what his sister is going through. I don't know her pain, but I understand the frustration that she's going through. I could remember sitting, we used to play dominoes at Five Corners together. And we are always looking and waiting to see when he would show up. Never did. And for the government to now turn around and treat us this way, I don't even know how to describe it. I was asking the cameraman just now, Earl, my friend, that when I go up, if you could turn off the camera, because I wanted to say some things that I just didn't want it for the camera, but I think I've tempered myself. But the GERS, I'm with you on that fight. I'm with you on that fight. And for them to actually tell you you're going to have to take us to court, tells me that they know better and they could settle this matter, but they want to challenge you to see how far you will go. I'm going to ask you to keep that fight. And God is going to stand side by side with you as long as he's been, and you're going to continue to have that strength. Damien, thank you so much for what you stated here today, too. I have a master's degree in criminal justice administration. And I'm telling you, I could remember sitting in one of my classrooms at John Jay College of Criminal Justice and having this discussion about the name criminal justice system as to who really this justice system is for. And one of the things here locally I can tell you, with our criminal justice system, and I think it was said here, or at least was going in that direction, VIPD going one way, Department of Justice going one way, the courts going the next way. This is supposed to be the criminal justice system. All of them make up the criminal justice system. One of the things here is punishment must be swift and severe. It's not happening. And that is one of the reasons why our young men are using the court system as a revolving door. The same people in and out all the time until they end up in the grave. I continue to say that what the technology that is within the Department of Justice, within the Virgin Islands Police Department today, when I joined the force, it didn't have all that. We used to go down to the Bureau of Motor Vehicle and go in a file cabinet and look for people's driver's license going through. You sneezing because the thing is so dusty. Today you go on a computer, you bring up all this information. You go on Facebook, they don't tell you already who committed the crime. Whenever a murder occurs, the first 24 is crucial. Crucial. Today, sorry to say, it's about money for some. But when detectives came out in my days, when they called us out, we didn't want to go home unless we had the meat. And as long as your name was called, we were knocking on your door and kicking in your damn door. I'm not sure what's happening today, but part of my frustration is, and I'm gonna go there as well, because I want people to feel safe here in our community. But at this time, our police department needs to look at itself and do what you call a redeployment strategy. We got more damn specialized unit in VIPD than NYPD right now. As long as you say overtime, everybody is out. But during a regular shift, I'm nervous at nights for family, for friends and whatnot, because honestly, you might have 1 or 2 people on the road for the entire island. That's not nice. You know? And we gotta really, really be our brothers' keepers. Again, all these agencies, VIPD, the Department of Justice, the court system, Bureau of Correction, everybody's supposed to be working together. As a matter of fact, you all see how many, everybody want to be a police now today. We got hospital police, we got port police, we got police in all areas, DLCA, DPNR, but then when you really need them, it's not there. And I'm saying that we know better. We're the government. And I feel bad because I'm in the position that I'm in, but I'm not their bosses. But as much as I say it, we keep seeing the same foolishness over and over and over. It shouldn't be no time that we don't feel safe in our own homes. No time. We got a bunch of cars up and down. We need people out there on the street patrolling. I'm glad that my daughter is no longer a police officer because now I could sleep at night. I really know how my mom felt. My mom never shut her two eyes until I came through that door. 21 years. And after doing 18 years, you want to tell me that you can't get your beneficiaries to collect what they're supposed to collect? Stay on them. My heart goes out to you. Whatever I can do, whatever I can say. And Damien, you mentioned something that I'm going to be bringing up in the Judicial Council meeting coming, because that is true. You got people sitting in jail for not only a year, 2 years, and whatnot. They shouldn't be in there that long without a trial. And that's why I'm saying that when there ain't no COVID, everybody else were working. Yeah, but you know, we use COVID as an excuse for everything. But as soon as the COVID pay come out, now everybody realized, well, I was essential. You didn't want to be essential at the time, but everybody became essential all of a sudden. But I don't want to drag this out. I just want to say that we just need to revamp our criminal justice system. And here in the Virgin Islands, we need to remember that it always took that village to raise a child. And we need to look out for each other. When you see your neighbor child doing something, pull them up. Say something. This isn't the time for you to be torn in your face. If we want to take control of our streets, we need to first retake control of our homes.
Yes.
Thank you.
So yeah, I wanted to just offer thanks to Clemmer and her staff for arranging the activity this afternoon, and also to thank Clemmer publicly for forming the Men's Coalition. That's about 36 years ago. So we're still there, still moving along, and Clemmer is ahead with, I think, 40-something years, so she's doing well. Plus, I think it's 3 buildings you have here. There's a lot of money coming in. 4 buildings, that's right. So you're making a lot more progress than we are, but we're still struggling and trying to do. So sometimes us men are a bit behind and not doing as well as the women do, okay? So, and as you know, there's been a fatherhood bill which was passed. It's now law, and we'll try to help our fathers move a bit faster and do what it is we need to do. All right, well, I made a couple of notes, and I'm only going to be, I'm a Toastmaster, so I got to make sure that I do my time me, okay? All right, yeah, and I made a little note, and I put poor VIP, poor our government, poor the youths in general, and of course, I think that one of the things that I could see that needs to happen here, we need to have a town hall meeting with the senators, the governor, and all the people who are running the islands here today, so that we can express our thoughts and feelings. I'm particularly sorry for the good lady here and the thing that she had to go through to try to get things done. And she's still going through. Yeah, but she's still here and still fit, and at least she showed them that she's strong, at least, and she's not running away from it. And she's going to get whatever help and support is needed to make sure the right thing is done. Because one of the problems we have as people is we treat people differently to the way we want to be treated. We do that all the time. So we got to look out for that when you're dealing with people. Are they going to be fair to me? Are they going to understand what needs to be done? Are they going to respect me? And the list goes on. And try to get over those particular things and move forward as fast as we can. When it comes to the gun violence, the reality is no gun has ever gone off on its own. You got to get the gun. You got to put the bullets in. You got to aim it to Damien or whoever you want to aim it to, and then you have to pull the trigger. That's the only time that it goes off. They don't go off by themselves. Even when they fall on the ground, I think some children had some kind of gun there, the gun fell on the ground, somebody got shot. But ordinarily, you got to pull the trigger. So it's down to choices that we have made, young people, elderly people as well, just because we don't like other people. We think we're better than them. We think we should be alive and they should die. How do we think in that kind of way and expect us to continue to grow and live? So it is very difficult, and we got to look at those things, and we got to do some work in those particular areas with our young people and with some of the older people as well, because what young people learn is what they see at home, what they see in the community, what they see on social media, etc., etc., etc. So if we're going to blame anybody for some of the things that's happening, let's start off with blaming ourselves. That's the beginning point. And the sister here was explaining for quite a bit the importance of looking at ourselves to see what we do. But I am heartened in the sense knowing that as we go along, we can do better. And it's down to us. Even in a case of domestic violence, I do some facilitating, and a guy said to me, we could clear all this up, you know. He said, yes, we don't have to have any domestic violence in the community if we decided to change our way of behaving, if we wanted to show respect for others, and if we wanted to treat people in the way we need to be treated. So there's work for us to do over a period of time. It's not going to come overnight, but let us continue to work together and do the very best that we can. And one of the reasons why we're around here, we got children, and of course, we're here to bring them up. That's the objective of us having the children, to look after them, support them. Not all of them listen. Some of them want to go their own way and shoot and do all kinds of things and smoke drugs, and the list goes on. And we got to say to them, if you do that, what you're doing really is putting your hands and your power and your strength in the hands of the courts and the prison. Because sometimes even the people who are looking after you in prison, they're committing crimes too. And we don't always know exactly what they're committing. And as a matter of fact, I saw a little report which says that last year there was about 741 or thereabout cases of domestic violence. My guess is even more. Those are the ones which were reported. And now up to June of this year, we don't have 400 and something already, up to June. So folks, let us know, and I know I mentioned this to you, I'm not saying that any of us are involved in those things, but let's be very careful and make sure that we understand this is our society, this is our world, and we are the only people who could make the necessary changes. But they begin up here. It depends on what's in this head and what you want to do with your life as you go along. So I hope that we have more opportunities like this, and I certainly hope that we will have, and our good friend there, Senator Gittens, with some town hall meetings so people could come out in the community, and the good sister there as well, Whitaker, and talk and, you know, get these issues out and try to do what we can and plan for moving forward. We live in a world of change, and we are the change. So it's up to us to do what we need to do. Thank you so much, right here.
One of the things that disturbs me, my nephew, Terrence Moorhead, who was peace to the dead, right? Peace to the dead, didn't bother anybody. He was murdered. I think the only thing Terrence worried about is looking sharp. Right, Kenny? He didn't like his clothes to get wrinkled. He had to look sharp. My nephew was murdered. My sister has aged. My sister is so frail, right? And I don't know what happened to the case. I don't know if there was a case. You know, I don't know. You know, and he was murdered, and nothing goes on. One of the things in our community, yes, we all should be a part. But you know what? We need to talk to our mothers. You can put that on, just Dr. Holmes. We need to talk to our parents, because even working in prevention, some of the homes that we were going to, some of the parents we dealt with, they just don't give a damn.
That's right.
You know, I think when we were growing up, you had to know who your friends were. You had your parents. My mother used to say, "Who they be? We're going."
Bring them home.
Yeah, all those things. You know, we don't do that anymore. We become so insensitive. And it's just like when we had night out last night. It was nice to see some of the senators, Kenny and some others. But where the rest of them today? They should be here. But I'm pissed because I'm disturbed. Why is my nephew who was murdered, who only cared about looking nice and he loved everybody? What happened to that case? What happened to so many other people that, you know, they lose their loved ones? It's sad for me to see Jazz, and we've been friends for years. I remember when we had to go and look at that burning car that was moved, whatever. I mean, all those things. You know, yes, we could have town meetings, but how many goddamn town meetings have we had? We've had so many different town meetings. Well, how many town meetings? You know, my cousin, I'm so good. Damien, thank you for what you're doing for this community, because we need it. But we need more people like you, Emmanuel, to do, and the rest of you. But we're in trouble here in this community. We're in serious trouble. There's no respect. I don't know, but it bothers me that nobody has, what happened to the guy that killed my nephew? What happened to him? That's it. Block off the house.
All right. Thank you. Okay. You were calm. Okay. And we'll wrap up after this one because we can't be here all night.
Okay.
We
Anyway,
literally can't be here all night.
is that the timeline?
No, go ahead.
Okay, okay. In remembrance of our murdered victims, our family members, we've lost so many. We lost Terrence, we lost Annan, Elle, and we're left behind to deal with the injustice of the justice system that should have gone through. With our cousin Annan, his murderer is still walking among us. And I think that's the hardest thing to deal with on a daily basis, because it doesn't stop. The pain doesn't stop. There's a moments of Christmas and holidays, remembering their smile, and the fact that it was all males in my family, under 25. And this is sad, okay? And the murderer of Annan was released because they couldn't prove that he did it. No one would come forward because they were threatened. And they released him. First they had him on home arrest, right? And now he's released, walking among us. I mean, this is BS, you know? And it's like the pain, and I appreciate the exercise that we did with looping, because we're flooping. You know, we flipping, and you got to keep calm to say, you know, you want to do street justice, but karma is a bitch. It's going to come back and bite you, because the same people who murdered one of ours, yours, and this is where the cycle continues, but then it's the innocent ones. Like your child may have been murdered because of what you did to somebody else's family member, and that's an innocent, okay? And in order of us to not have the pain, arrest, convict, that's how my pain is going to stop, okay? That I see justice for the injustice that you, and there was a simple fight between these two young men. He came back and murdered. You see what I'm saying? Came back and murdered. That's all I want to say. And we just want to thank the coalition, because your support for us keeps us going, and family supporting each other keeps us going and stuff like that. So thank you.
Thank you. Everybody breathe. I nearly feel like we need to get Charlene to do a breathing exercise at this point, you know, just so that we learn. So, you know, the criminal justice system, and I know I've said it a lot of times, and Clemma's been there to say it, the criminal justice system is just that. It's the criminal and then the justice system. Because those of us that get hurt, the victims, are the witnesses. That's how the system's set up, right? And so it needs to change. Can we change it? Of course. Are we going to change it? Of course. When are we going to change it? I'm not sure. But it's going to happen. But it's going to happen. So as we wrap that part up, we're going to ask Bernice Kai to come and give us some words of healing before we show this 15-minute wall.
Good afternoon. My name is Bernice Kai. I echo everything that has been said prior. I am actually not giving you words of healing. I am reading a poem, and it goes in line with all that we have heard, and it lets you know that you're not alone, and sometimes you just need to live in the moment, but let it go, like Charlene shared with us. I did not write this poem. I'm not the author. Her name was Tara Lan, and I'll start. Something must be wrong with me. Something must be wrong with me, with all this hurt inside, always bursting with anger and never any pride. Something must be wrong with me. If all I do is cry, I can't stop this pain. All I want to do is die. Something must be wrong with me. If my emotions run wild, all this confusion does is make me feel like a lost child. Something must be wrong with me. With all these terrible things always there, never gone, depression is what it brings. Something must be wrong with me. If I can't stop these thoughts, all the pain does is turn my stomach into knots. Something is truly wrong with me when I think there's only one way out. Let this pain end is all my heart wants to shout.
Thank you so much, Bernice. All right, so this wall is going to be hard for some people. It's hard for me, especially having to put it together and add new names and people that I know every year. So if you need to get up, go outside. If you need to talk to one of us, grab somebody, go out, we'll go outside and we'll talk to you. Mr. Lewis is there, Clemma, everybody. Clemma's there, I'm here. Ms. Cruz is here if you speak Spanish and feel more comfortable speaking in Spanish. Tamara's here. And so any of us are here if you want to, you need to go outside and take a minute. Also, and I'm taking some privilege here, we have notes to a loved one over there. And so for some people, it may be easier, I'm thinking, if you write the notes during when the wall is shown. So there's some cloth and there's sticky pins and there's pens, and you can just put it on the black and red board that's right there next to Tony. Can't remember your last name, Tony. Okay. So you can put it on there, so you can write a note to your loved one while we do this. And Judy, I'm going to ask you to turn off the light behind you. All right.
Just let them know no music, it's just names. I just wanted to say that.
So this is a silent wall, and as it runs the walls, and please understand that this is not a complete wall. These are the names that we do have. People have called in, people have sent names. Some of them they sent today, so I haven't been able to add them. I will add them for next year. But there's no music or anything, it's just a silent wall. And if somebody for you is missing, please let me know so that we can add them.
And it's 15 minutes?
It runs about 15 minutes long. It's 108 slides. There's 6 people on each slide. Also, this is just in Croix.
I don't see 6 that I know already.
We only in the bees.
Oh yeah, last one.
If you don't see your name of your loved one on it, either bring it to my attention or Shalene, and we'll make sure, because we also run this wall on our Facebook page all the time for families.
Every time.
So we are trying to figure out who they are, but you know, if the case has gone cold and all the rest of it, so we're hoping to get those, hoping to remember their names, have their names so that we can remember them. So this year, and I'll share this, the coalition, we got hit really hard. You mind if I share, Kalama? That's fine. Okay, we got hit really hard because Amanda Herzog, her name was on the board. She came to our office the Thursday. She went missing the Sunday. They found her body the following week. So it was hard for us, and nothing has been done with her case. But we remember her because she was literally, she brought me a Mother's Day gift. She hugged Kathy. Kathy's our receptionist. She hugged Kathy because I was out sick that day. So I saw her the Tuesday. Kathy saw her the Thursday. The office was the last to see her that we know of. She didn't go to work. Nothing else happened. And so when we tell you that this affects us, and this is the reason why we do it, is because it hurts us. I still have the bottle of wine that she left me. I haven't been able to drink it. I don't drink wine. But, you know, the bottle is still in my house because I don't know what happened to her. They said she got shot. I called the police. Actually, I called the police and told them that she was missing because I kept calling her and she wouldn't answer me back. And that's not like her. It's not like her at all. She'll either call or she'd come. She didn't do either. So I called the police and I'm like, I can't find her. And I need to know what's going on. And I still don't know what happened.
VIPs what happened.
Yeah.
VIP, that's what happened. They ain't know, we can't put cut on it.
Right.
VIPs what happened. They know who did it. They know how it happened. They know
They found the body. They found the
everything.
body a
So
week and a
we
half
have
later.
enough evidence to press charges.
I gave them a description of her, and they called me back and said, you know, the things that you told us, the specifics you told us about her, really helped us to be able to identify her body. But we take our people that come through our office very, very seriously, because we do care, and we'll continue to care. And Miss Francis, I see you. I see you. I always remember your son as well. Right, so thank you so much for all of you that came. Thank you for coming. Thank you for continuing to be our community. Thank you for taking a stand with us, because we can't do it alone. We appreciate all of you, and please be safe.